I created a membership called Arlan's All Access. And in the last month, I have onboarded 300 new members and have also made about $24,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And every single day I work on Arlan's All Access membership, I'm smiling and I'm happy. I feel freer than I have in so long, and I'm being real with you right now. So I just get to every single day hear from new people and learn from new things and meet with old friends and kind of get familiar faces and watch them interact with each other. It's just the most fun I've had in so long. You are in my Inner Circle program. You're in Arlan's All Access, and you're learning all about memberships, but you have a membership that is doing well. What can you tell us about your membership and some of the learnings that you've had?
So I started a writing group in 2020. I finished my book with that writing group. People finished essays and articles and got tenure and promotion and finished their PhDs and things like that. So it was a successful writing program that I was not kind of organizing as a membership. And working with you helped me to see the benefits of turning it into a membership, because it was something that had already been successful and doing well. But instead of me reaching out to everyone every month with like a PayPal link to say, okay, we're doing it again, who wants to sign up again? So it kind of automated the payment part of it. And it took the legwork out of me feeling like I had to reach out to everyone every month.
It came about so organically. My daughter is a softball player, fast pitch softball player, and she wanted to play a select team. And we're getting ready to head into tryout season. So I started to ask some of the parents, well, where do I find where all of the tryouts exist? What tryouts she's eligible for and what teams are in our area and all of that. And we're like, well, we kind of go to these different Facebook groups, and different teams just kind of post all their information there. So I went to these Facebook groups, and yeah, I could find some information about some of the teams, but they didn't even always have like all the information. I love Airtable, and I started to put it in an Airtable because I figured just keep it all in one place. And I put out a few posts and I said, hey, I've started to track. I don't know if you're having trouble with this, but I'm having trouble tracking all of these tryouts. And it went crazy, like absolutely nuts. More than 3,000 people accessed the spreadsheet during like the height of tryout season. Almost 300 teams entered their information into the spreadsheet. Like it was so far beyond.
It is the Creative Flow Reset community, and everything that we do is focused on inspiring creative potential, awakening creativity in those who may either feel like they can't find that for themselves, or maybe they just need to like awaken that again after trial, challenges, and just life. And it's available to any and all. It is a free community with some premium upgrades.
What does that community feel like within your membership?
I think there's just power in the numbers and seeing other people who are doing the work that you're also doing and knowing that you're not doing it alone and encouraging each other. So there's like the writing component of it, but I also have an optional group coaching component of it. And so people come for the writing, but they also come for like the check-ins where people are reporting like, this is the progress that I'm making, or this is where I'm struggling or having a hard time. And so it's as much me coaching them as it is also peer coaching that's happening in the space. So that's really beautiful.
How are you bringing in people today, those first few members, and any new ones you have? Because that's a question that comes up a lot, is how do I get members into my paid membership, especially if I don't have a large audience?
So my first few members are people who I call the OGs, who were in there when I first started it in 2020, and I took a break from it. And so they were very much looking for me to bring it back. And so when I announced that I was bringing it back, they were excited to get back into it. And then a few more people have come in just from referrals, because people are like, okay, I'm in this writing group, I finished my book, or I finished my article, or I got tenure, come join us. So some of them have been referrals. And then a few people have been like from my email list or from my social media presence. But I would say a good percentage are people who are returning, who were in it before. And then I would say the next highest group would be direct referrals from people who are already in it. And then after that, it would be like email, social media kind of connections.
What's a fear that you have had to overcome in order to do this membership, do you think?
I have thought about who the heck am I? Who am I to create this? Like, I'm not a professional sports person. So that's probably the biggest one. But I realized I'm going through this right now as a parent team coordinator, whatever you want to call us. And well, yeah, who am I not to? I clearly have a skill set that not everybody has. There's a ton of value in we can learn together. right? Or I'm new to this and I have specific skills that I've brought in, or I brought a really unique perspective to, this particular role or skill that you're teaching people. I think there's a lot of value in that. And like, let's do this together, let's build this together. And I think that's what you've done with All Access as well, right? Is like you're building this incredible
Building it.
membership.
Yeah.
And you're sharing as you go. And that's one of the things that I've learned the most from is this, let's do this together. Let's see each other's success.
What if somebody is wanting to start a membership, but they're afraid to charge people money or to charge over a few dollars a month? What can you say to the value that people are getting and just generally speak to that fear?
So I would say for me, one of the ways that I was able to overcome or maybe bypass that fear is that I actually started this group out for free when I first started it. And because Black women and women of color tend to be so generative and generous, they kind of got together and raised money to send me money, right? So they were just like, you can't do this for free. Like you're holding a lot of space for us. This is very valuable to us. And so that helped me become more comfortable with charging something for it. And then when I saw that, okay, it's really a high touch space where they are connecting with me almost daily. I usually am on there from Monday through Thursday. So they have like the writing space that I'm holding, again, in addition to the group coaching, in addition to the courses. So I feel like there's a lot of value that's being offered for what's being charged. And that's not just me feeling that, it's the feedback that I'm getting from the group in terms of what transformations and values they get out of it. And so part of it is checking in with the group. Like early on, I emailed and said, okay, what brought you to the group? What were the challenges that you were dealing with? How has this group helped address those challenges? What transformations have you experienced? And people were very generous also in just giving me that feedback to let me know what the space meant for them.
Talk to me about that decision you made to go with that model.
Ooh, this was a tough one. I think one of our coaching calls as part of my inner circle group really shaped that. I want a space that is extremely accessible. When I think about the things that I needed on my journey as a creative project manager and as a creative leader, it was always important to me that I could access resources to show me the way. I'm fortunate to work with you, Arlan, but not everyone has that ability to work with you directly. And so I think about what I needed. And honestly, this community that I'm developing and really being a part of yours, it kind of closes that gap. So yes. I wanted it to be free so people could come learn from me in real time, also connect with their peers and not wait on anyone to lead them, but rather them to jump in and feel like they're fostering peer connection as the number one resource. And I feel like I'm beginning to pull some of that magic that's happening in All Access as well into my space. So I'm grateful for that.
Talk a little bit about how you do make money that way, because somebody's going to say, well, if it's free, how is she making money?
It is a lead magnet, right? It's an opportunity to give people a taste of what it is that I personally and or my entire business can offer them. Coming into my free community should be an opportunity for you to get a taste of working with me if you cannot do it one-on-one. But then there is a layer within my school community that is has a paywall, and it is a premium upgrade. And then if they want more of that premium small group, almost accelerator style learning, they can work with me that way.
It sounds like you've also done a really great job of keeping things simple. You have some very high value offerings within it, but it's not like all these different things all at once that people have to figure out. How important is that?
I think that is important to keep it simple and also to, again, let people opt into what they want and opt out of what they don't want. So it's not a pressure to, I'm like, okay, I have a 2-hour block pretty much daily that we do in the morning and then 2 hours in the afternoon. And I'm like, if you can show up for 30 minutes, show up for 30 minutes. If you can do an hour or 90 minutes or the whole 2 hours, you can. But there's no judgment about how long people are on there. People just come when they're able to come. Or even sometimes people are like, well, I just need the check-in to have some accountability. So they might not make it to the writing that morning, but they make it to the check-in. So I think having the options of these are the different components of it. There's the virtual writing, there's the check-ins, and then there are also course suites that are available that are self-paced that people can, again, opt into what works for them, opt out of what doesn't. So I think the simplicity of what's offered as well as the low pressure of do whatever works best for you and work the membership in whatever way works best for you is helpful for everyone.
One of the things I really love too about the work that you do is that you get to travel. You set that life up for yourself. You can run your membership from almost anywhere at almost any time. Talk a little bit about that flexibility.
Oh, yes. I intentionally designed this community and this YouTube kind of connection, this funnel together with that in mind, because I plan to do a lot of travel in 2025 and I don't want to be location destination reliant. I don't want my clients and the work that I do to be focused on where I am physically, which means that if I want to record a course, a training, a conversation with a peer like this, or behind the scenes with Arlan, which I plan to share in my community, if I plan to post those things, they don't have a shelf life. They don't require me to be somewhere. And I do value my time. I've been leaning towards being a happy, healthy, high earning, creative leader in this season of my life. And that means being less available physically, but more available and more capacity when I am there. So that's what my community represents. It's like, I don't post every day. I think I post 3 times a week max. My community manager posts in the in-between and supplements.
Yeah.
She also runs one of our live sessions. So I just think that it's a hub. It's a hub for the best parts of me to show up for my community.
So on Saturdays, I really love to just take off from everything because there's so much going on. And I just unplug from the membership and I plug right back in, and everyone's talking to each other and answering each other's questions and supporting each other. And you give them the content and the resources that you need, but you're not trying to overwhelm them anyway. So you can come through, check it out. It's like being a host of a party.
Yes.
You want to come through and make sure everybody's good. I also call it treating it like your garden. So you want to tend to it. You may prune here and there, but you want this beautiful garden and let the ecosystem kind of do its thing.
I'm in your group and there are so many of us and it's so engaging, and I'm still at the baby stages of mine. And I have to remind myself that this space and this pace is designed for a very long-term goal.
Yes.
You've been doing this. This is not brand new for you. You have transitioned and really revamped into something beautiful that honestly has superseded my expectations. And so I have to give myself the grace of knowing that at this stage, it's doing exactly what it needs to do. I shared in my post that it's all about building the muscle of consistency and creating the container and trusting that as I do that, folks will come in and stay focused on the value.
How much time are you giving yourself to see, and what is successful traction for you in the first few days or weeks?
I think what I will be looking for is traction where people are sharing with each other. Like that to me will be the ultimate, if people are getting referred from other members.
Yes.
That's what I saw with that original spreadsheet was just this crazy, oh my gosh, I'm sharing it with so-and-so. I know somebody else was looking for that. So that I think would be like my ultimate measurement.
Did you ever think that you would be making money off of a membership that you enjoy so much?
I did not. I think I just wasn't thinking of it as a membership. I wasn't thinking about it in those terms. So it's been helpful to think about it in those terms. And it is powerful. Even when I was in graduate school, I was like, I can't believe I get paid to read and write, right? And so this is like an extension of that. Even though I've stepped away from the professor position, I feel like I'm still getting compensated to do the things that I really love to do, which are to read and write myself, but also to hold space for other people who enjoy reading and writing and help them cultivate their own writing practice and writing habits. And take the anxiety and the fear out of writing that a lot of people have.
For someone who has the ability to hire someone to work with them on their membership, which there will be a lot of people who do, what is that relationship like and what does that look like, behind the scenes?
Well, I'll speak specifically to the community management role.
Okay. It's
very different from your traditional VA, right? I think it's very easy to hire a VA these days to support you maybe in your personal brand or your business. But your community manager, in this case mine, she has come along the journey of watching my business grow. I did some vetting over a year ago to start finding someone who could become a partner in my creative journey and someone who I could have shadow me every step of the way. So she's learned not only just my voice, but my values, and we align on that. I think that that's key. So we had to build a genuine connection first before I could just throw her into that role. But she also has a customer service background. So I was very intentional around choosing someone who was a CSM to come into this role, even though she had never been a community manager before. She also has a coaching practice. So I knew that between her coaching and customer service, she could serve as maybe even a better me as a lead in my community. I know my superpowers, I know my strengths, I know what I'm going to bring to this community, and I know that she'll do more than fill the gap. And that even if this becomes a role that she doesn't stay in long term, we will have built a foundation that can be duplicated through SOPs, and just the framework will be built. I also went within my community to find that person. So I think that that's key.
What's your plan? What is your goal maybe?
My goal, honestly, the dream would be that this would be the whole business. I mean,
Yeah.
that this would take over. Such a wild thought at this point that that could be possible. So that's for me personally, but truly, it's really about having, again, this place where other parents can go and get resources. I would love to just create this resource that is well known among sports parents for where they can go and just get a ton of information and support and templates and all of the above.
Someone is a consultant or a coach and they have not thought about a membership aspect of it, what can you say to them is the reason they should be paying close attention to this?
It's really simple. I think more than anything, and honestly, I got to plug school again and plug your community because it was actually a little overwhelming for me working with other platforms. I felt like I needed a LMS that was super robust, like a learning management system. Let me just clarify. And I found that once I got on school as a member of All Access, something just unlocked. And I was like, this is so much easier than I thought it would be. You just need people. You just need good content and you need consistency, those three things. So if you're a consultant, I like to speak to those who might not think that memberships will work for them. Like it will. I mean, I've seen therapists, I've seen financial planners, I've seen all of the different types of backgrounds come and use their community. And it doesn't have to be this huge, expensive experience. You can have a community that's as low as free or $5 a month, $15 a month, all the way up to whatever that limit is for you.
Yeah,
Don't
hundreds
let
of dollars. Yeah.
hundreds of dollars, exactly. Don't let the overwhelm of not starting stop you from starting.
And how has being in Arlan's All Access helped with this whole process?
Oh my gosh, it's where the whole idea came from. Literally. Like it really is. It really is. Because up until, I mean, it just hadn't even occurred to me that this would be something that I would create a membership around. Again, my focus always had been in, my professional experience, which is in the world of HR. But all of a sudden, like watching the videos within Arlan's All Access, you have all of these videos and how-tos, and you are like showing people how to do it as you go as well. That's really literally where the whole idea came from.
I'm going to ask you that use the same questions for you when it comes to Arlan's All Access, because I know people watching want to be part of it, but they don't know if it's for them. They don't know if it's necessary to do their membership. What can you say to that?
So one of the things that I appreciate about Arlan's Access is you're very good at breaking things down into smaller parts. So it's not something that feels just so overwhelming where it's just like, oh my goodness, where do I start? Like it's broken down into smaller pieces that are very accessible, that again, you can work at your own pace. And I think you're very good in the space of saying like, okay, if you're just getting here, you're not behind, don't feel overwhelmed, like go to whatever section works best for you, or you may want to start here to build up to there. So I think you're very good as a teacher in this space of like breaking things down into baby steps that feel doable and giving people just the roadmap of like, how do you move forward in terms of even like identifying what your branding is or identifying what your unique value proposition. And so the kinds of prompts and questions that you offer are really helpful for people figuring that out for themselves as they move forward. And you're very good at saying, okay, like this, like literally this is what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So you can like not just do what I say, but do as I do. Like I'm demonstrating for you how I've built this so that you can also build something. I think that's very helpful.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to keep close contact with you to watch this process, and we're rooting for you, and it's so exciting to watch.
Thank you so much.